Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Some say they like big butts, and that is cool, but let's remember all sizes of butts rule. All butts are perfect, no matter their shape or size. No matter who you are, please know your butt's a prize. It's a gift from Mother Nature to you, with a hole in it through which passes your poo. Your noggin is great, but do you sit on your head? No, you sit on your butt instead. Your butt has a big role whenever you rest. When it comes to sitting, your butt is the best. Every butt is a winner when it comes to being cute. I wonder what notes you hit when you toot. Remember to use your butt whenever you lift. Your glutes are your biggest muscles, truly a gift. Whether using your rear for sitting or to dance, remember to nourish your ass with plants. You like having an ass, other animals do too. They don't want their asses turned into a stew. Guess what? Chicken butt, leave that butt alone. Chickens want to be free with space to roam. Kindness is the most important thing there is. Be kind even if it ruins your biz. Capitalism is a pain in all of our asses. I can see the system sucks even without my glasses. Your ass and the rest of you as well deserves a utopia in which to dwell. Let's make a world where everyone is free in a post-capitalist society. Non-oppression means sitting anytime you want, or shaking your ass if you want to flaunt. Nobody shaming or slut shaming. A whole lot of loving and no blaming. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. Do I like your butt? Yes, I do. Your butt is perfect. If you see a sanitary product in a garbage can, don't wrinkle your nose, that is disrespectful, man. Periods are not gross at all. The patriarchy is gross, I want to watch it fall. Menstruation stigma needs to end. Learn about periods, I recommend. Talk about your periods as much as you want, and if you get a blood stain, feel free to flaunt. Periods are not gross, and menstruation stigma. Periods are not gross, and menstruation stigma. Periods are not gross. 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 Periods are not gross.
All right. That's enough of that. That is enough of that, Sakers. Guys, I can only take so much Sakers where I start wanting to pull my hair out. Guys, one of you guys, John, right? John sent it on Facebook, said, hey, we should watch this. And it's shorter. So if it sucks, you know what I mean? If it sucks, well, it won't suck as long as the previous ones has sucked, if you know what I mean. But Hanford, you little shit, get the lights. Hanford, you gotta be faster on that, okay? Hanford, you are not getting a night donut. All right, guys. Let's do it. We're watching A Strange Harvest. 1980, guys. Are you ready? Aliens.
The program you are about to see concerns the mysterious deaths and mutilations of animals in the United States and other parts of the world.
Hanford, that was you, wasn't it?
Due to the graphic nature of some scenes, parental guidance for children is advised.
All right, Hanford, close your eyes.
The film you are about to see, called A Strange Harvest, was first broadcast...
It's not Natural Harvest, is it? Because that's something totally different.
...in May 1980. The subject is a mystery which has haunted ranchers and law enforcement for the past decade. The mutilation of animals, especially cattle, throughout the United States and Canada. Since the first broadcast, mutilations have continued, but with little or no media coverage. Perhaps because it's easier to accept the usual explanation of predator attack. However, in the past few months, since September of 1982, I have received 12 mutilation reports from sheriff's offices. All relating to bizarre cuts, not predators.
Bitch, please.
One of those happened right here in this field on September 16th, 1982. Bill and Linda DeZuris grew up on this ranch land about 30 miles east of Colorado Springs.
They're fucking their cows.
Raising cattle has been their life, and neither had seen anything like the dead cow they found.
No one's gonna fuck these cows. It's meat.
That September day.
Beef.
That's right,
About
Pick Rob.
noon, we went out to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to calve. And
you guys can't even afford chairs? Hey, sit in the cow shit, you two rubes.
everything was okay.
Linda wants the beef?
So we went back to the house.
All right.
Had lunch. About, all afternoon, we'd worked out on the truck all afternoon. It was a pretty day, and...
Hey, cows, we're trying to film something over here. Can you shut up?
we hadn't seen or heard anything.
When about 5 o'clock, I had to go to Kremlin after a load of hay. So I was in a semi, and the cow was over a little ridge, but I could see off a sweet road the cow laying there dead. I got the pate and I called my wife.
That was my favorite cow.
Told her to go check on it.
Half of the udders were gone. You could see into the stomach cavity. The rectum had been partially removed.
That's aliens, guys.
The eyes were bulging out. I was
Like Pick
horrified
Rob.
at the thought of what could do this in broad daylight.
Hanford.
When we had checked the cows only a few hours before.
That cow was the DeZuris' third mutilation. In the fall of 1979, they found 2 of their year-old heifers lying 100 feet apart in a pasture.
Hey, we need a soundtrack. Just get a wah-wah pedal and that guitar with 2 strings on it. That'll do.
Were dead, and their rectums had been cored out.
Bungholes?
Unknown.
Not their bungholes cored out. You know, I hope no alien ever cores out our bungholes.
One deputy sheriff in Wyoming
Aliens
is so
want some
frustrated
milk?
with the mutilation mystery that he has gotten his local crime lab's cooperation to investigate mutilations as they would human murders.
That's a good question, Shaden.
This fall, we had 10 mutilations, 8 in Sweetwater County and 2 in Daggett County. And in 1975, we had 16.
See, that guy's putting his bumper on his cop car. That's how you know this guy means business.
Where I go, they tell me that it's predators, which I do not believe.
It's aliens.
Why do you feel differently?
Because I don't feel a predator can do these things. I don't feel a predator can come up and chew a half of a bag off of a cow or the end of the penis off of a bull and not touch any of the rest of the cow. I've been around predators. And
have you ever seen a predator core out a bunghole?
They'll go inside the abdominal
take out
cavity
Ursula's
first and
bunghole?
eat the insides, which is easy eating.
What would be your own personal feelings about who or what would be doing these mutilations and why?
I wished I knew. I don't have any idea who is doing it. We have investigated several things, cults, different things like this, but we haven't come up with any answers to any of our questions.
I bet it's cults.
Treating it like a human murder would give you what kind of different information than you've had in the past?
Well, treating it as a human murder, I feel that we can get the crime lab in Cheyenne to help us with our analysis of the the animals of what may cause the death, maybe even if it was some kind of a poison or something that they're
This
using
looks like the work of hillbilly penis.
to kill them, or how they are using it to kill them. It will just give us more answers to a lot of the questions that we have on mutilations.
Two of the Wyoming mutilations were like the one in Colorado on the Dezuris Ranch. Half the udder removed, teats cut, and rectums cored out, all without signs of blood. The Wyoming state veterinarian said about one of those
It has
cows,
to be aliens. You ain't chasing a cow and coring its bunghole out. You're just not doing it. You'll get kicked
quote,
across the
"It was
barnyard.
dead before it was mutilated with a cutting instrument. The mutilation was not done by an animal."
Sakers?
And in a Carpenter, Wyoming case, the veterinarian wrote in his necropsy report, right front and rear mammary glands missing, left front and rear teats
Titties?
missing, vulvular area missing
The
approximately
snatch was missing?
5 inches into pelvis, leaving rectum intact. Hole in center of skull, approximately 2 millimeters in diameter. On the surface of the skull and 1 millimeter in diameter.
They're taking
on
the titties, bunghole, and snatch?
the inside of the skull. No evidence of gunshot. Cause of death, possible injection of material into brain with unknown object. Lab analysis found nothing. Who or what is killing and mutilating these animals, and why?
Hanford. A strange harvest! Watch out, cows. The aliens are going to get you any second. Vulvular.
Most everyone in the western United States heard about
Pick Rob groped me in a vulvular fashion.
cattle mutilations in 1975. And a couple of years later, in
Was Todd
1977, most people thought cattle mutilations had gone away. The number of newspaper articles declined, and ranchers, many of them, stopped reporting their dead and mutilated cows to law enforcement. But the cattle mutilations never
Picking a
did stop.
Frankenstein?
And by the spring of 1979, United States
Where does
Senator
this bitch get these sweet jackets? That's what I want to
Harrison
know.
Schmidt of New Mexico was concerned enough to call for a conference in Albuquerque on April 20th to talk about cattle mutilations. And I began wondering again, what was going on? In the past few months, I've traveled through Wyoming, New
Are you
Mexico.
saying it's the cigar? Well, you know, his bunghole, the cigar gang guy, his own bunghole was cored out. He has a colostomy bag. Maybe he did it to himself and then did it to other cows.
Mexico and Colorado exploring
Other
this
cows.
mystery. I've talked with journalists, law enforcement people, ranchers, and scientists.
Ranch.
They have shown me their photographs, their reports, and their files. In this program, you will hear the testimonies of many of these people who have been involved with this puzzling phenomenon over the past decade. Some of their statements might shock you, but they're all part of this amazing story that I call a strange harvest.
Whoa. Bitch is taking this serious. Poor cows. Hope I'm not next. That's what the cows are saying. Dukes! Did you say Dukes? I wish I had some Dukes. All right, we got it. A Strange Harvest. This is the third time you put this title thing up. Linda, you gotta get it together, dude. Whoa! You better run, you fucking cows. Your bunghole and teats are gonna get taken. Not my teats! Oh yes, even the teats. I look so cute. Oh, Linda definitely does anal, dude.
In
She does
September
forest anal.
1967, on the King Ranch in the San Luis Valley of
Linda does barnyard anal.
Colorado, an Appaloosa mare called Snippy was found dead and stripped of flesh from the neck up.
Not Snippy!
Some said this was the work of flying saucers. Who or whatever did it, no one knows. Since that time, and perhaps even earlier in this century, thousands of cattle, horses, and other animals have been cut up in strange ways throughout the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, Panama, the Canary Islands, and possibly other South American and
They're gonna
European
get
countries.
Metalhead Missy.
Some people call it cattle mutilation. Whatever it's called, it's a strange harvest.
Stop
Parts
saying
missing
harvest.
are usually an ear, an eye, the tongue, the lower jaw is stripped of all flesh, the sexual organs are cut out, the rectum is cored out, and in some cases, the blood is gone. Adding to the mystery is lack of tracks or other
Don't core
evidence.
her bungler. She's only got one.
Mutilated cattle have been found on wet sand or rain-soaked ground with no tracks around them, not even their own.
I bet it was Frank
And
Dukes.
the mutilations continue. Between May 1979 and January 1980, over 30 cattle in Canada had reportedly suffered this strange fate. Iowa had 8 reported mutilations in the last months of 1979. Other states that had reported mutilations in 1979 were Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arkansas, Kansas and Nebraska, and
Look at
Texas.
that. She did her homework, guys.
Who or what is killing and mutilating these animals?
I said it was aliens. Motherfucker, stop with putting the name of the movie on here. A Strange Harvest. You get it. We know what it's called. No more. Weird, mysterious killing of cattle reported. Oh, the Idaho Statesman don't fuck around. The Denver Post, the Pueblo Chieftain, Colorado Springs. Look at that. I bet it was Mr. Goat. Mr. Goat, where were you during 1980? During the years of 1980 to 1983.
Could it be cults, predators, helicopters,
Helicopters.
UFOs, deranged
You
individuals,
just see a helicopter ripping the bunghole out of a cow.
secret government project?
Yes.
Is any of these the answer? Are all of these part of the answer? Some ranchers believe that whoever's doing the mutilating must be using some kind of aircraft.
What if it's a guy
The
who just runs
Greenhorn
really
Mountains
fast?
in southeastern Colorado rise above the sagebrush that stretch for thousands of square miles around Walsenburg. Here in July of 1979, rancher C.E. Potts found one of his prize bulls dead and mutilated.
Not a prize bull. They took the pecker, didn't they?
Down this road, and there's a thunderstorm coming up behind us, and we was rushing down, but I smelt this animal as it went by. So we come back to check on it and found it had been mutilated. And we examined it, and its sexual organs was all taken out and everything, and one of its eyes was taken out, and its eyelashes was taken out.
An eye and a pecker?
What about the idea that it's predators?
Well, there wasn't no predators. There's not a predator bothered it since it's been dead, even.
Oh, what about that? It's been laying there dead, Linda, and no one snacked on it.
Been killed by a predator, because all the surgical work was done by expert. I really didn't think there's anything to it till it come home to me.
How many times in this guy's life do you think he had to yell at someone, "Let me tell you something"? Bet you it was several.
Now I know there's bound to have been mutilated, because anybody that can see good could see it was.
The strange thing about it is that we have never...
He made me go on this documentary and say that I believe in aliens. Or he would lock up my family and send me back to Mexico.
found any blood on them.
No blood.
No blood, no.
Tracks?
It's a sweet truck.
The only tracks that we found on the first one were some tripod tracks.
Tripod
they
tracks?
formed some like a triangle. I didn't know what to think. It was kind of strange because we had never seen anything like that before.
Still remains a mystery. In all the states it's happened, it's a mystery as far as I'm concerned, what I read and hear about it. I got calls this summer from Canada on 2 mutilations. They called me, and the way they described this, it just typical of our mutilations we had in '75.
If it goes into Canada, and there have been reports that
in Canada too,
Puerto
I'm sensing James Hogan.
Rico and some other parts of the world, if it goes on to an international scale, do you think that would say terrorism in our country?
Well, yeah, way of thinking.
And if they're excluded,
I don't know that either.
Don't bring me into this shit.
Colorado Bureau
That's a nice way of saying, don't bring me into this shit. I got my own
received
problems.
203 reports of suspected mutilations in a 9-month period between
Linda's on the case.
Colorado State University's diagnostic laboratory received 35 carcasses. Only 19 were in good enough condition to perform lab examinations. Of those 19, 9, or about half, were considered to be cut with a sharp instrument.
Ouch.
The rest were generally described as the activity of predators.
Yeah, thanks for the
It's
help,
true,
government.
cattle in Colorado are going to die each year from hard winters, disease, lightning strikes, predator attacks, and other natural causes.
That's how Larson gets her meat.
But in northeastern
These
Colorado,
cows' lives are at stake.
another favorite spot for the mutilators, Tex Graves, former sheriff of Logan County, insists the 93 mutilated carcasses he investigated were not natural deaths.
The very first one we
Yes,
had
the cows were doing heroin.
was southwest of Sterling. When we first looked at it, it was just unbelievable that you could take an animal and do this too without leaving some kind of
I bet you that was done with a flare chop.
some kind of evidence behind, such as cigarette
Man, I want that
butts,
jacket.
matches, hand
Tex. I need that jacket, dude.
prints, footprints, but there was nothing. The animal looked almost horrible, and it was something that I didn't really want to believe then. And there was, we probably had 5 or 6 others before I really did believe something strange was going on. We had one up north where we believe the animal was paralyzed and was alive when it was being mutilated. An eye and an ear, the tongue, the rectal area was taken out, but the animal dug a hole with its head.
I mean, does a cow even really need a bunghole? It just shits wherever anyway.
None of the other parts of the body
I'm more aerodynamic without this pesky butthole.
moved, not even the legs.
What force could hold down a 900-pound steer while its ear, tongue, rectum, and sex organs were removed?
Life by Jen.
I asked Dr. Albert McChesney, pathologist and coordinator of the diagnostic laboratory at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. His lab did all the analysis work on the 35 carcasses sent in from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
Well, I would, of course, surmise the animal was dead before they were removed.
But how would the hole be dug where its head is? It's been moving to dig that hole.
Many times when an animal dies, they go through an agonal phase just before they die, and they will paddle their
This
legs.
guy's put a lot of people through agonal phases.
Or they will beat their head or swing it back and forth, or they might even have some central nervous system involvement, which would make them be incoordinate, make them lie down and to struggle for some little time.
Poor little guy.
And this would dig the hole where the animal's head is. Now, I'm not trying to discredit the fact that there can be mutilations, but I just want to show that there is a very good chance that something else could have caused it.
Here is the very first cow that Sheriff Tex Graves in Sterling ever went out on. Would a natural predator ever strip a jaw clean like this one?
Yeah, answer that,
I
jerk.
cannot tell you whether this would be from a sharp instrument or from scavenging. Many times when an animal dies again, the pressure will cause their tongue to
I'm
extend.
telling you, it was Frank Dukes practicing for the Kumite.
And this will allow animals to start eating on the front end of the animal. And if so, this cleaning of the jaw and the cheek muscles would be just a natural extension of that entry into the body tissues.
But doesn't that look like a nice clean curve of a cut around there in that lower jaw?
It does.
It's like, lady, I'm not going to commit aliens, okay? Would you get out of here and stop wasting my time?
It's quite clean, but once again, we have to have all of our facts together before we can draw a conclusion.
I'm not going to say it's
if
aliens.
I could see whether hair was cut or if there were deeper incisions, perhaps I could tell you specifically. But to look at one like this, I would say it's within the realms of either a scavenging or a sharp knife mutilation. It could be either way.
One other place in 1976 north of town on a very hard pasture, almost like hard brick. We found tripod marks 12 inches across. The tripod marks were 14 feet apart. We found
that's an alien craft.
One set that had gone in the ground roughly 8 inches.
Oh shit.
And it would take a good post hole digger or our shovel to dig in like this. It indicated something very heavy had sat down in this area, yet there was no tracks leading.
I want Linda to answer, why would aliens want bungholes and teats and peckers? Linda, you got to answer these questions.
To it. Almost nightly when this was going on, we could pick out a very brilliant, huge, brilliant light in the sky. We had a newsman take pictures of it with a very high-powered lens, but all we got out of this was the...
That's all the proof I need right there. That's it.
...of it, and the light showing very brilliant.
Good old boys having a good
Several
time.
times we observed smaller lights come out of this aircraft.
That's the cowpecker being beamed up.
And then come down toward Earth. This huge, brilliant light would hang in the air, and then when it would move, it could move up and down, backwards, forwards, travel very rapidly. And after a while, these smaller lights would join up with the larger one, and then they'd disappear.
Another law enforcement officer who saw strange lights back in 1975 and 76 is Bill Waugh. Bill was the undersheriff.
Bill don't fuck around, guys.
In Elbert County for 8 years, working with Sheriff George Yarnell. He
you might be
retired
on
in
something,
1979.
Posseman and I was sitting out there one night. The sheriff was up in a plane, and I happened to look in the rearview mirror, and I saw this orange ball of light come up from the ground. So I nudged the deputy or the posseman with me. We jumped out of a car, and this light came at us. It was up off the ground, flying higher than the car. And they get up just about to the car, and they make a complete 90-degree right-angle turn. And in the cockpit, I could see 3 little lights, a red one and what looked like a white one, and either a green or a blue. One man looked out of his window at night just before he went to bed, and a horse was standing out there. He got up the next morning, sat down to breakfast, and happened to glance out, and the horse had been mutilated. Right there. It was in the summertime.
Why cows, though? Why not, like, deer or something?
Had 3.
Why just cows?
They had a house and 2 trailers where people lived in. And they all had their windows open.
2 trailers?
They had dogs around the place.
Nice.
No one heard any dogs barking. No one heard a thing. And that was right.
Well, dogs don't want their pecker and bungholes taken.
By the house.
A strange harvest. This must be for TV or something. Time to get the mutilated cows.
A man named Drexel Lawson has a livestock removal service. He's been working in the 9-county area around Denver and Colorado Springs since 1977.
He's been parked outside of Life by Jen's apartment building for the last 3 weeks, just looking at his watch. Anytime now.
Picking up dead livestock. Over a 2-year period,
See a horse?
he hauled off about 4,000 dead animals, including several mutilated cattle.
Get out of here,
My
you
first
dead fuck.
mutilated pickup was in 77. It was in the late afternoon, late evening, and frankly scared the hell out of me because I wasn't used to seeing things like that. The thing that I think has scared me and astounded me so much was when livestock die, they normally will lay and thrash in the grass or in the dirt. This cow looked like she'd just been actually just picked up or turned over, and none of the grass or the dirt, anything around her was disturbed or destroyed in any way from her dying. She hadn't had any blood. The blood was completely drained from her.
I would say that it would be virtually impossible to withdraw.
This guy wants no part of this.
Not even all of the blood, but just a significant amount of the blood from an animal without leaving some telltale mark that blood vessels had been cut or that the animal had been killed in this manner. probably closer examination would have shown that in the dead...
I didn't mutilate the cattle. I didn't. They're lying. They're lying on me.
Animal's body, the blood had gravitated to the deeper organs or to the downside.
Do you know of anything on the earth today, in medicine or military, that could drain the blood from an animal?
Yes, the Blood Drainer 2000.
I have no knowledge of it if it's there. No.
All the mutilated cattle that I've gotten, where the rectum tissue's been taken or the muscle tissue's been taken, it's been a very, very precise surgical type.
Hey, hand me one of them beers under the seat.
Incision, and it's been clean, not hacked like an animal would. An animal has to grab and bite. It has to tear in order to remove that tissue, and this has all been smooth.
What? Are you saying this guy's dead? I don't believe it.
What's your own personal theory or feeling about who or what is doing the mutilations?
Well, I feel strongly about UFOs. The incisions a lot of times...
Yeah, Michael Lambert left because the shitting and urinals thing hit too close to home.
It's like some type of burn or laser. The eyes on a particular cattle that I picked up has had a marbly clear look, which looks like it's a flash burn or some type of a laser burn.
A laser?
The term laser burn came up in several conversations with ranchers and law enforcement people. So we decided to see how laser surgery is done.
Oh, shit!
This instrument is called a CO2 laser. It will be used to remove scar tissue from a woman's vocal cords.
Hey, why don't you just sew them shut?
This mobile laser unit stands about 8 feet high and weighs about 400 pounds.
Hey, someone had to remove livestock.
In the hospital, it is powered by AC current from a wall plug.
Mr. Wang?
Experienced medical technicians need 20 minutes to get the laser unit ready for surgery. Clearly, it's not a convenient tool to drag around remote ranch lands. But because of the alleged burns found on some mutilated animals, a few people have jumped to the conclusion that maybe lasers are involved.
Do you think a cat would chase that laser? Run up the walls and shit?
It is true that lasers seal off blood vessels as they penetrate tissue, so there is little or no bleeding. The depth of penetration is controlled by the power of the beam and the length of time it is on.
Ow.
When the laser beam hits tissue, heat is generated, which turns cell water to steam and vaporizes away. Could a laser do the strange cuts found on mutilated cattle? We asked Dr. Arlen Myers, an experienced laser surgeon at Rose.
Weird. Are we back?
And we'll take this.
I bet I had to do with that chicken shit.
Piece of flesh, and I'm just going to make a similar size circle and try to duplicate this wound over here, simply with a knife. When I